TG Geeks, episode 73, May 16th, 2016. Oh my gosh, it's hot, and we have a fem-bot. Hello and welcome to another webcast from tggeeks.com, where Ben and Keith, the Two Gay Geeks, talk about all aspects of geekdom and nerdery. Sci-fi, comics, film, horror genre, you name it, we talk about it. I'm Keith Lane, and we're coming to you from TG Squared Studios, almost without air conditioning, in lovely Phoenix, Arizona.
And I'm Ben Raggington, also coming to you from Fantastico, Phoenix, Arizona.
Fantastico, yes. And this week we have another character from the BTI series, or Beyond the Impact, Origin Beyond the Impact. So I'm going to play the little snippet of the trailer, and we'll get right to the interview. And this time we are talking to another BTI alumni, or BTI current.
She's not an alumni, no. She's still with it.
Current character, Ms. Kambra Potter, and she is an Oklafornian.
I am. You have read my IMDb page, I see.
Yes,
we did. Yeah.
A term I coined myself. I like to thank my journalism degree for that.
Yeah,
well,
that's pretty cool.
It's either that or referred to as everybody's favorite little fem-bot.
Yeah. So where did you go to school and get your degree?
San Diego State.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Broadcast journalism, and I always knew I wanted to do the acting route, but I thought I should have a backup plan, and, well, that was a very expensive backup plan.
Exactly. Well, I hail from Oklahoma myself as well, but...
I think I did know that. Yeah, we're neighbors. Only three of us in the whole state, you know.
You were in Elk City, and I mean, I was as far from the eastern border as you were from the western border.
Okay, so there's you, there's Kambra, there's Larry Nemechek. There's the three people we all know. Thank you very much.
Yeah, there you go. Anyway.
Well, Brad Pitt's from there, too, fun fact.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Well, and Garth Brooks just lives around the corner from my sister in Owasso, so.
Oh, that's right.
It's kind of interesting. Anyway, so we're here to talk to Kambra, and Kambra she plays your character
Erin
in
Baxter.
BTI. Yes, Erin Baxter. And that's we talked to Sherry here recently and talked about her being a scary character, but yours, Erin, is as equally scary as Danielle is. So
well, thank you.
No, see, Danielle, I think, is scary. Erin, there's a reason why I think Mark Biaggi calls her the fem-bot, because I think she's lethal.
Exactly. So before we launch into more of this, tell us who you are. Tell us who Kambra Potter is, and kind of how you kind of alluded to the fact that you got into acting, but tell us how that happened.
Well, I actually started competing in pageants back in Oklahoma in 2003. I was 13 years old at the time, and they had an optional acting competition that I did, and I qualified to go to the national pageant, which was actually out here in Anaheim. And I told my parents then at 13 years of age, I said, I'm going to live in California. I'm going to move here and pursue acting. And they kind of laughed at me. They're like, you're a kid. What do you know? Well, now I can say, I'm right. You're wrong. But that's what inspired me to do acting. And growing up in Oklahoma, there's really no opportunity in Elk City at all. So I always knew I needed to get out and pursue it, but I really didn't know the how. So I came out here and went to school, obviously, to get my degree and have that backup plan. And I started really pursuing my acting back in 2012 was when I kind of launched myself into it.
I was looking at your IMDb, and you've got some couple of credits even before 2012.
That's true. I had done a few things. I had done some background roles. Trying to think. It's been so long and it's all blurred together now. But most of it has been since 2012, I believe, but there are a few things that I did before then.
That is really cool. Now, you didn't complete your statement when you said there was not much to do in Elk City of any type. You know, instead of not just acting, but of any kind of.
What we did for fun on Friday nights was go to the Walmart and push the shopping cart around with each other in it with our friends. So that was a time in Elk City, Oklahoma on Friday night.
Yeah.
Hey, that's really partying hard.
Oh yeah.
Well, you know.
Don't forget the cow tipping.
Well, I grew up in a place that was just a tiny bit larger than Elk City. I grew up in Muskogee, Oklahoma, so you know we had 50,000 people when I was there. So. And there's still 50,000 people there.
Well, compared to Elk City's 12,000, that's like a metropolitan area.
I know. And we were 50 miles away from Tulsa as well. So.
Oh, yeah. So that's what people in Elk City do. Is we want to have a good time. Hey, let's go to Muskogee.
And not quite. That's all the way across the state. That's a 4-hour drive.
When you live in Elk City, I don't think you care. Apologies to anybody who still may be living there who's listening to the show.
I definitely love my hometown. I'm really grateful that I grew up there. And I mean, it's always great to go home and see my family and people that I went to high school with. I never really felt that I belonged there. I always felt like there was something missing, that I needed to get out and do something else. And, you know, for me, the opportunity I just knew was in California. And I live up in Los Angeles now. I was in San Diego for 5 years, and I've been in LA for, 2.5 or almost 3. So it's incredible how time flies, but I love it here. And the Oklafornian thing came from, you know, I'm always going to be an Okie at heart. That's my blood. I was born and raised there. My family's all there. So I still have that Okla part in there, but now I'm more Fornian. I've been here for almost 8 years. So
yeah. Well, we are glad that you came to California, or went to California, and especially San Diego, and joined the group with BTI. So tell us how that happened.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question. How did you get connected with Beyond the Impact?
That's actually a pretty incredible story. I had done a few smaller roles. I had done a lot of student films and independent films, a few commercials here and there in San Diego. And what really, I would say, launched my acting career as it stands now is a commercial that I did for Valley View Casino, and our DP's wife just so happened to be the makeup artist on that commercial. And she approached me, or she called me a couple months after the casino commercial and said, hey, my husband's the DP on this project that's coming up, and they're looking for a young actress. Are you available to audition? And so it's really because of Rosalie that I even found BTI at all. I wouldn't have even known about Jeff or any of them had she not recommended me to Mario, who then recommended me to Jeff. And it's amazing how it just kind of snowballed from there.
Wow, that's incredible. Well,
yeah.
We're glad that you, as I said, came to California and joined the BTI group, because your character is frightening.
There's something very frightening, but at the same time very fun about Erin. I really can't explain what it is, but boy, she just intrigues me to no end.
Yeah. So go ahead.
It's quite funny to me because in real life, I'm very bubbly. I used to get made fun of in high school for being too friendly and outgoing and positive and yada yada. And I'm always smiling in real life. So when Jeff first cast me for Erin Baxter, I thought, oh man, this might be a little bit of a challenge. She's very, if you've seen it, she's very cool, calm, collected, very stern. You don't see her emote.
She's a fem-bot.
She is a fem-bot, and I love it. At first, I was a little, not skeptical, but I was just like, okay, this is really gonna, be a good challenge for me, and it definitely was. And it's so much fun to play a character that's so unlike myself. That's the beauty of acting. That's, one reason why I want to be an actress, because you get to experience so many different personalities and characters, and it's really fun.
So is there something in the character of Erin that you were able to find within yourself and bring out? How were you able to flesh out the role of Erin Baxter and make her to be such, and like I said, she's such a fun character to watch, even though she's like an android almost, but a very scary one. How do you bring her to life?
Jeff is actually incredible. He's such a great director. He's definitely an actor's director. He walked all of us through the process with a lot of rehearsals, which is pretty unlike most films. You usually don't rehearse a lot before, shooting, and he was just there for us every step of the way and gave me his vision, and then I just tried to bring it to life as closely as I could to what he had imagined. And it's kind of funny looking back to when we first started filming BTI. I had recently gone through a lot of personal issues and with just life happening, and I think that kind of played into it a little bit. I was able to dig deep and bring that out in a way without really emoting a lot, but just the thought process, the internal process. I was able to kind of stay focused that way.
Well, let me ask this question. What has Jeff shared about the background of Aaron Baxter, if anything?
Yeah, no, you don't have to go into spoiler territory.
Not a lot.
Yeah, that seems to be the pattern.
So
he's just not sharing anything about characters' backgrounds.
Other than what a general overview of the character?
Well, I've created a little bit of my own backstory for Aaron, but as far as what Jeff provided, it's very kind of cut and dry for the scene and everything, and there hasn't been a lot of backstory that I am aware of, and I don't know if that's the same for other my colleagues and the other actors and their characters, but it kind of for me helps play into the whole mystery of who she is, and it almost helps me as an actor. It's good to know the ins, the outs, that character 100%, their history, how they became who they are. It's good to know that, but with Aaron Baxter, she's such a mystery in and of herself that it almost helps not having a big clue as to where she came from. That might be revealed in later episodes. I won't give too much away, but I do know that there will be some sort of alluding to maybe her history, but I'm not even fully aware of that yet, so it's exciting.
There is a theme going on here because you almost echoed what Sherry said when we talked to her about how she created the character of Danielle.
Huh.
About how Jeff really didn't give her a whole lot, that Danielle was largely a mystery, and that was sort of I guess a fun adventure for Sherry to then flesh out and create her own backstory completely on her own, and really play into that mysterious aspect of her character. I mean, it's fascinating to hear you say that, and now I kind of want to talk to everybody else in the cast and find out if the same thing is going on with each of them.
Yeah, I'm curious as well. And it's interesting that Sherry said the same thing because, great minds think alike, and she is my boss, so.
Yeah, now, tell us about that relationship. That seems to be, there's a little tension there, at least in the, not between you and Sherry,
right.
But between Aaron and Danielle.
Yeah, how do you guys play on that?
Well, Danielle Conrad is someone that Aaron Baxter looks up to and admires, but I think that she secretly aspires to become her.
I suspected that.
I kind of got that.
Because she's taken things on her own initiative to do, and Danielle doesn't appear to like that very much.
I don't think she likes it when it doesn't go well.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
If it went swimmingly well, I think Danielle will be thrilled.
I think Danielle does see Aaron as somewhat of a threat, and there is definitely an element of tension there that Aaron does not want to screw things up because that could ultimately deter her path to success, down the road. But I think that she's wanting to fast track the success route, and Danielle's not about to give up her, current stance within Crow, obviously. So
Right.
It'll be interesting to see how that tension plays out in the upcoming episodes, and to see what happens between Sherry and myself or our characters.
Yeah, so it just seems, just the way Aaron acts, that she might have been an experiment as well here.
A Crow creation, shall we say?
Yeah, Crow creation.
Well, I don't want to give anything away. I do know that, like I said, we'll kind of dive in a little bit, I believe, in the next episode and share some of her background, but I like your speculations. It's interesting to hear. So it's always fun to hear how other people perceive the character, and she's definitely one that has gotten a lot of attention for her persona. I've heard people say, "Oh, is she a robot?" Well, maybe we'll find out she is, or maybe she isn't. Who knows?
Exactly. Or did she have something to do with the disappearance of
the scientist?
Of the scientist.
Ooh.
Ooh,
who knows? Who knows? Yeah. Have you had a chance to start filming any more scenes for Beyond the Impact?
Not yet. I actually have been out of town quite a bit for work. I work as a public speaker, and it's a seasonal job, which is great because then I'm home in the off season, but I've been gone quite a bit. So we're trying to figure out the scheduling, now to move forward for this next part of BTI, and I'm so excited to get back into it. It's been almost a year, a little over a year actually, since we filmed, the first one and premiered the first episode. So I'm definitely ready to get back into it.
You think you can really just slip right back into that role and just become Aaron again?
I think so. I think watching the first episode will definitely help me assume that character. But I mean, she's so fun, and in a way, she's simplistic and easy to play because there's not a lot. It's all internal, like I said. So there's not a lot physically or outwardly that you necessarily see. So in a way, it's a lot easier to play her than what I initially had kind of expected.
Interesting.
Okay. So when with looking at your IMDb, I'm seeing some very interesting roles that you've played here, and including 2 films that, well, maybe 3. I'm seeing Sex Sent Me to the ER. Well, actually, the one that really intrigues me is the role of Marna in a horror short that you did called Forever Hollywood. Tell us about that.
That one was very fun. It was filmed here in San Diego as well, and it was a short film about a group of student filmmakers or young filmmakers, and I played one of the actresses, and we go on a camping trip, and without giving too much away, things go wrong, and it turns into a little bit of a horror film, and let's just say there are zombies involved, and it's kind of funny. I've been cast in several zombie films, actually, and I had never been intrigued by zombies in my life, and when I got cast as Marna for Forever Hollywood, the director recommended that I watch Walking Dead for reference, and I had always said, I don't want to watch a bunch of dead people. I don't get it. What's it all about? Well, my former roommate, she and I at the time, I got cast in that film, so we watched the pilot episode of Walking Dead, and oh my gosh, let me tell you, I was blown away. We sat and watched 6 hours worth. It was pretty ridiculous, but that's one of my favorite shows now. I'm obsessed with Walking Dead, and it's quite funny because I've been cast in just off the top of my head, I can think of 3 or 4 zombie productions or zombie related productions that I have been cast in, and it's kind of funny because who would have thought? I used to be very turned off by the whole idea of zombies, and now it's such a hot topic, and it's funny that they keep casting me for them. So hey, whatever works, right?
Yeah, zombies are all the rage right now.
Yeah, they are. But do you find? Well, it's interesting because it seems like that. No one is really casting you based on. I mean, we met you in San Diego last year,
yeah,
and you as you are right now. I mean, you're just so effervescent, but you're always playing these roles that seem to be so against type.
Yeah, it is kind of funny because there's always that battle for an actor that you don't want to be typecast, but you do want to be typecasted because then you're working. And it is interesting because most of the films I have played in, and barring a few of them, I really feel like I haven't necessarily played a character similar to my own personality, and that's very fun for me, but it's also very interesting because I see myself in a different light than these characters, and so it in a sense is a challenge, but I like that challenge, but it's also very interesting because it's almost going against type more often than with type, and so I don't know if that's good or bad, but if I'm working, I'm happy.
Have you had any acting training?
I have. I actually took classes with Carrie Scott at the rehearsal room here in San Diego. I did several showcases with him, and I was with him for maybe a year and a half in his classes, and then I moved up to Los Angeles, and I took classes with Kevin Sizemore up there, and for about probably a year. And then I did I've taken seminars here and there. I've done seminars with Bob Luke. I actually, it's kind of funny because years and years ago, it was in 2005, I actually had the opportunity to perform in one of those nationwide talent showcases, and it was the Mike Beatty Model and Talent competition, and I'm not sure how many people were there, but I was 15 at the time, and it was a competition and also a chance to, perform in front of agents and directors and casting directors and things. Well, the competitions or the elements were a monologue, a two-person scene, and then a commercial. And I performed in all of them, and I ended up winning the award for the best overall junior female actress. I got the trophy and everything, and it was kind of funny because really the only acting experience I had at that time was performing a few times on stage at my pageant that I used to compete in. They had the optional actress competition, and I had won that a couple of times, and I placed as a runner-up, but I really had no formal acting training at all at that time. And then I won this best overall junior female actress award, and even to this day I kind of look back and think, wow, there's something here. And I know as an actor it's always hard because you get in that place of, you have to pay the bills but you want to pursue your dream. And I think that I've always felt that dream is in me, and that passion is there. And even when it gets rough, I have to pursue it. I have to push through, because perseverance and longevity in this industry are really, it's tenacity. I think that is the most key element. And when I think back to that award that I won, and it's kind of funny that I really had no training, and yet it's kind of a sign for me that maybe this is really, what I'm meant to do.
What is it about acting that drives you? I mean, what is about the actual craft of acting that makes you say, this is something I feel I need to do?
I think it's being able to affect people and tell a story. I personally am a very animated individual, but I like being able to affect people's emotions in a sense that you're telling a story, you're letting them live in that moment with you as the audience. They're viewing the film or the show, and I think the most appealing thing is that it takes them away from whatever life issues they may be dealing with, whatever stress. It's that moment for them to escape from their troubles or their everyday lives and be entertained, whether it's a comedy or a drama or a horror film, a mystery, whatever genre it is. It's, for me, being able to, I guess it's as cliche or cheesy as it might sound, help people. I've always felt that my purpose in life is to make a difference, and for me, that difference is through alleviating some of the problems that people may face and just being able to give them that 2 hours of entertainment to kind of get their mind off of whatever has been bothering them or something.
So that's fascinating, and it kind of seems like your motivational speaking that you do kind of is an extension of that as well.
Absolutely.
In an odd sort of way. So. Right.
And I think another part of it, there's definitely an intrinsic part of me that thinks, I grew up in small town Western Oklahoma. I definitely didn't grow up extremely privileged. And I think that if I can pursue my dream and if I can actually make a success out of it, then I feel that can be a testament to other, people. And with my motivational speaking, I speak to young girls, and it's something that I love sharing what success I've had in the acting industry and inspiring these girls that I work with, whether it's acting or singing or, whatever field they hope to go into in their futures. I want to inspire them that you're the only one that can hold you back from accomplishing your dreams. So, you have to just go for it and believe in yourself. And you don't have to be born into fame and fortune to make a success for yourself. And personally, fame and fortune are not what I'm seeking. I just want to be able to entertain and leave a legacy as an entertainer and really make a statement and be kind of an impactful person.
Oh, speak for yourself. I mean, nothing would thrill me more than to be able to walk down a red carpet and have a billion flashbulbs going off in my face.
Well, if fame and fortune follow, then that's okay, right?
Okay, I'll give you that.
I would accept it, but
humbly accept that.
Yes, yes. Don't stop, please. Keep it coming. So now, obviously, the desire of an actor is to want to keep working, as you just pointed out. But do you have any little flights of fancy in terms of what kind of roles you would like to have or what kind of projects you'd like to work on. I mean, sky's the limit, shall we say, and it's not a question of so much as, well, I need to have a job just so I can earn a paycheck. If that weren't the issue, what kind of role would you really love to sink your teeth into?
I would really like to do comedy because I haven't done a whole lot of that. I don't have a ton of comedy on my reel, and as much as I love the dramatic pieces, I think a comedy or even a dramedy would be really fun, just a little bit of a shift for me, kind of a change of pace. And, but I do really love the deep, meaty characters too. And I think comedy would just be a fun, thing to sink my teeth into. And not that I want to only go that route, but since I haven't done a ton of it, I do think it would be a good challenge for me because I know comedy is not the easiest thing. And I like to think I'm funny in real life, but.
Oh, you're a hoot. I mean, there's no question that Mark Biaggi absolutely adores you to no end.
Aww.
because he finds you just to be just so much fun.
I will say, don't tell the other cast members this, but Mark Biaggi is one of my favorites. I just love. I mean, he's just a light of energy, and he's so much fun to work with. And every time seeing him at rehearsals and on set, it's a privilege to work with all of these cast members. Honestly, they're incredible people. But Mark is just, and he's so talented. It's fabulous how his accents and his dialects and his character development, and he's very, very talented. So I'm just honored to be with such an amazing cast. And I know most of us are fairly new. None of us have extremely high. We're not number one on the star meter on IMDb, but it's refreshing to see that we're all so passionate, and even though we're fairly new, or what some people might consider as younger actors or newer actors, we really bring a lot to the table, I feel, as a cast in its entirety, and it's such an honor to work with such a great group of people.
Yeah, everybody that we have talked to has just been
they've been wonderful.
Yeah, wonderful. They take their craft seriously.
Yeah.
And are just genuinely nice
Well,
people.
I so far, everybody that we've met that's a part of Beyond the Impact, I just absolutely love.
Except
I
for that
amazing.
Jeff Patton guy.
That Jeff Patton guy, yeah, he kind of freaks me out.
Who invited him?
I know, he just really just, he just bugs the snot out of me, I'm telling you. Tell us about the chemistry on the set. I mean, obviously, we're talking about what we've seen aired so far. I mean, so we're not going to go into any spoiler territory. But when the cameras are not running at that moment, just what's the energy like? What's the whole chemistry on the set like?
It's really great, and I think that a lot of that does reflect on Jeff. He kind of creates that atmosphere that it's such a great environment. It's a very humble environment with all of us. We all get along great, and it's more than just colleagues. We're really a group of family. I would consider them my extended family. And it's funny because driving down from LA for rehearsals used to be a pain in the butt. I mean, on a Friday afternoon, you're sitting in the car for 4.5 hours just to get from LA to San Diego for a rehearsal. And it would always be so frustrating to sit in the car and, think, oh, I'm driving all this way just for a 2-hour rehearsal. And then I would get here, and it was almost as if the moment Jeff opened the door and I walked into my group of castmates, it's really incredible how the chemistry of all of us just meshed so well, because it's a big cast, and I haven't worked with everyone, on the cast, but there's a lot of us involved, and I think for the more people you have involved, the more likely that there could be some tension or something, and there really, that I've experienced, has been no negativity at all. It's just been such a great group, and I mean, we'll joke with each other, and Travis especially, gosh, he's a jokester all the time, but we're all there for each other. At the end of the day, like I had mentioned earlier, when I first got cast on VTI, I had gone through some personal things. My car was rear-ended and totaled on the freeway. That was fun. I had just gotten out of a 5-year relationship, and then a month after that, my dad was in a really bad accident and almost lost his life.
Oh my God! I mean, this is bad stuff.
Yeah. All within 6 months, there were about about 6 really significant things that were very groundbreaking for me, and were very difficult for me to deal with. I was only 24, and it was just, life-altering, honestly. And just being around these guys, it helped me so much to to kind of, like I mentioned earlier, the reason I want to pursue acting, or the reason I am an actress, is to entertain others and take them out of their problems for the moment. That's what acting does to me as well. It being around, especially this cast, they were all there for me. Mark Biaggi especially, he had been in kind of a similar accident as my dad, and so he was there for me, giving me pointers on how to help my dad cope with his accident and everything. And everyone has personal stuff that they deal with, and
not us. No, not us.
Never.
That's because you guys are perfect, obviously.
Yeah, exactly.
But,
we are the two gay geeks.
Yeah, we're wonderfully gay. We got nothing wrong with us.
I love it. But yeah, it's just, gosh, the energy and the chemistry, I don't think I could ask for more. And it's interesting when people sometimes ask about acting and what would you consider as a success, or when would you say you've made it. I think that working on this project has been a huge success, and I mean, pray to God that I still keep working after this, obviously. But if I for some reason weren't in any more films, I think that being in BTI has been so incredible for me that I could be proud of myself, and I could say that I have been a successful actress just for being in this project. And I can't wait to see where it does go. I know that there's a lot more big things in store, and I'm going to still pursue further roles and everything. But surely this was a kind of a turning point for me, and just an incredible opportunity. So.
Yeah.
Well, we'd say that Beyond the Impact has been a turning point for us and our show as well.
Exactly. And I just want to say that virtually everybody that we have talked to, well,
not virtually, everybody we've talked to.
Everybody we have talked to has kind of voiced the same thing, that BTI is a family, and we feel very fortunate that we have been accepted into that family, being complete outsiders. We're not even, and it is. I mean, there's this familial atmosphere and feel about when we talk to people, and it's really nice and refreshing.
But it was also very reflected when we were down in San Diego for the kickoff of the Kickstarter program, and when we were interviewing during that first round, well, even during the second round for the what I call Beyond the Impact, the Next Generation. But just to see you, Mark, Travis, Jessica, all of you, just the way you all gathered around each other. I mean, the sense of family, more than just community, but I said a sense of family. I mean, to see that in a show or a movie is highly refreshing, and yeah. I think that it really translates on the screen.
Yeah, and that really is a testament to Jeff's direction. And,
yeah,
and
absolutely.
All of the kidding aside earlier, but he really fosters that and lets people be who they are, and just gives them direction and lets them be their character in this family, if you will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do have one question I have to ask.
Okay.
Just for the fun of the show, got any dirt? Anything that happened on this so far? Just some fun
pranks.
Little dirt.
Any pranks.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't have to be really just evil.
Not necessarily that you have done, but that
no,
maybe
of course not. She's perfect. She would no, not Kambra.
I feel like there have been a few, but they're not coming up to mind right now.
Oh darn.
Well,
no.
I have to try next time. But in the meantime, do you have any other projects that are coming up that people might want to see you in?
Right now I don't. Unfortunately, with my public speaking job, I've been traveling since February, and I'm wrapping that up at the end of May. So I'm looking very much forward to moving on to the next project. It's just been difficult since I'm in and out of the state every week for extended periods of time. But once that's done in June, I'm definitely looking forward to hitting the ground running, jumping right back into it. I miss it. I miss going on auditions, and I read once that the audition is the actor's work.
That's exactly right. Yes.
That's the cherry on top. And I like auditioning. I know that probably most actors don't, but if you're auditioning, you're out there, you're working, you're exposing yourself to the industry, and I miss being able to do that because I've been on the road for my public speaking job, which I like to think is acting. I do get to have fun with it and put some personality in there, and it is acting in a sense. It's also like my broadcast journalism job, or my broadcast journalism degree rather, is kind of coming into play. I get to use my acting and my degree all in once, so it works. But I can't wait to see what auditions and opportunities come up once I'm done with my seasonal job in June. And I do know that the next part of BTI is going to be pretty epic. We're going to be filming that or my role in that pretty soon, and so that'll be my next, the extension of this project rather. And have you guys heard the music for that yet?
Yes,
oh
we
my
have.
God, yes.
Okay. Yes, we
I just
have.
wanted to
We've heard Stefan's or some of Stefan's score, and it's pretty mind blowing.
It is. I just heard it today, actually. Jeff had Stefan on Skype, and we were talking to him, and it is, unparalleled. It's just incredible.
Yeah,
it is. It really
composition, and I can't wait to see how it comes into play with the footage, and it's amazing to be a part of something that it's so many moving parts working together, and that's another thing I love about the industry. It's, I never have understood actors that get a little chip on their shoulder, because at the end of the day, it's not about the actor, it's about the entire crew and cast and the compilation of the sound and the visual and the coloring and the lighting, and it's so powerful to see how many little moving parts that can work together to create a beautiful production. And,
yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
I agree. I think that's why I'm so fascinated with the industry itself.
Yeah,
So,
I agree.
so since you don't have any upcoming projects for people to kind of latch onto, if anybody wants to find out more about you, about Kambra Potter herself, do you have a presence, any kind of social media presence? Do you have anything on the interwebs, to the Twitters or the Facebooks or the MySpaces? My God, MySpace.
The
Oh, wow,
intertubes,
that's an old school one.
I know,
Yeah.
I know. Well, I'm an old fart. What can I say?
have one out there, but don't go look at my MySpace. I haven't updated that in like 20 years.
That's me too.
I do have Facebook, actually. If you'd like to follow me, my acting page on Facebook is facebook.com/Kambra Lee Potter. It's KAMBRALEE POTTER, my full name. And then also IMDb. I am on Instagram as Kambra Potter, Twitter as Kambra Potter. I like to keep it simple for people. My name's already challenging enough with the Kambra business, so it's just Kambra Potter across the board. Anything they want to follow me on and follow my story. And I really appreciate everybody that does take the time to check out my acting and follow my career, because that's what I'm in it for. I'm in it to entertain, and I can't do that if there's no people to entertain.
Well, I would say that you are highly entertaining.
Okay.
We didn't really get to talk to you at super great length in San Diego, but I did get to observe you very closely, and you were so much fun back then, and that's why I was very happy when Jeff gave us the opportunity to say, how'd you guys like to interview Kambra? Oh, absolutely. I would love to interview her.
Thanks. I'm blushing right now. You can't see that, but.
Well, I can hear it in your voice.
Yeah, no, it's fun. I really appreciate you guys taking the time to interview me, and this whole thing with Jeff and BTI, it's definitely, I feel like, a launch pad for me to propel me into the next, whatever the next may be. Definitely more work with BTI, obviously, but aside from that, we'll see what happens, and I can't wait. And it's such an exciting chapter of my life that I'm in. I had kind of fallen out of pursuing acting for a little while there after 2014, and I had all that personal stuff happen, and BTI was really the only project that I had focused on and put all my energy into that, and it's worth it. Everything comes back tenfold, and it's just, I can't wait to see what this leads to next.
Super.
Well, I know that Jeff and Mike have teased that they want to put us in a pair of lab coats and have us kind of like be in the background. So who knows? Maybe we'll see you there in a couple of months when we're called to put those coats on.
I would love that, but be warned, Erin Baxter is not friendly, so she will not be smiling at you that day.
Oh, I can't wait. Cannot wait.
Miss Frowny Face.
It's more like Miss Emotionless, laser eyes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You could get to be
That's
the
the fun of it.
fem-bot. Yes.
Yes.
Well, Kambra, this has really been a lot of fun. We thank you for being on the show with us here.
Well, thank you. It's an honor to talk to you guys, and I really appreciate taking the time to talk to me, and hopefully we get to work together soon on set, or I'll see you. Sure, I'll see you guys around soon too.
Oh, well, we'll be
You
down
bet.
for the premiere. I know that at least.
Absolutely.
But yes,
Sure.
if we could see you on set, that'd be even more fun.
That would be great. All right. Thank you.
Well, can't wait.
All right. Thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you, guys.
Hi, this is Rusty Manuel, director of PJ, The Legends of Nathaya and Occupants, and you're listening to the Two Gay Geeks podcast.
And we have a few selected birthdays for May 16th through May 22nd, 2016. May 16th, Pierce Brosnan and David Boreanaz.
Yeah, we bumped into him.
Yeah.
Well, almost ran over him.
Yeah, almost ran over him.
Last year. Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, also Danny Trejo, who I understand is a really, really nice guy.
Everybody
for
said that-
as scary as he looks, you know?
Yeah. He's a terrifying looking character, but yeah, I've heard that he's just terribly friendly.
Machete! And May 17th, Greg
Ferguson.
Ferguson, yes. And Trent Reznor. I put Trent Reznor on here because he was into some unusual music that I don't care for. But,
And he's a huge Rush fan.
but he's also done some film scoring.
Yeah, I understand
So,
that. I
yeah.
need to look at that a little more closely.
Yeah. Also, May 17th, Bill Paxton, Hill Harper, and Zinka Milanov. Zinka Milanov was a big opera star in the 40s, 50s, and 60s, into the 70s. She did a lot of stuff at the Met.
Anything that she was most famous for?
Actually, today, as I was running to Safeway, she was in Pagliacci. So, anyway, that was kind of interesting. Zinka Milanov on May 17th is her birthday. May 18th, Chow Yun-fat and Rick Wakeman.
Oh, wow. One of the most amazing keyboardists of all time.
And Frank Capra. May 19th, Andre the Giant, Pete Townsend, Peter Mayhew.
Wow, two giants.
And Joey Ramone.
And the giant in music.
Yeah. May 17th, Cher.
I got nothing.
And Jack Gleason.
To the moon.
Not Jackie Gleason.
Oh.
Jack Gleason, who was Joffrey.
That little snot-nosed kid. Yeah, to the moon to you, too. No, I understand he's a really nice kid.
Yeah. May 21st, Mr. T. This is just for you, Mr. Joe. Crazy Joe. And Raymond Burr. I say, remember. No, that's Aaron Burr.
Yeah, Aaron Burr.
For anybody that remembers the peanut butter. Was it peanut butter commercial? Or something? I don't remember.
It was
some crazy. He was eating peanut butter anyway.
Eating some kind of food.
Yeah, May 22nd, Harvey Milk, Hergé
of the 1010 series.
And Bernie Taupin, also known as
Mr. Elton John.
Yes, Mr. Elton John.
Well, actually, he's not Mr. Elton John.
Or
He's
was.
Well, no, they were never married.
Well,
Never,
true.
But they have been composing partners. I
for
wonder if
years and years. I think they still write a little bit.
A little bit, but Elton's not really doing a lot of new music these days.
Yeah.
I don't think he is.
Also, May 22nd, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, 1859, and Wilhelm Richard Wagner.
I didn't know his first name was
1813.
Wilhelm.
I didn't either. Also, two friends of the show, Victoria Blunt and Nikki Hunter on May 22nd.
Happy birthday, you two.
Hey, and that is it for the birthdays this week.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Hey, this is Crazy Joe. And this is Dave, host of Megapodzilla, the podcast equivalent to a 100-foot radioactive robot lizard, but with horn-rimmed glasses and a pocket protector. That's nerdy. We're on the rampage, laying waste to the geek landscape. We'll talk movies, TV, comics, toys, video games. And sometimes we talk turkey. Don't you mean chicken? That's right. So check us out at megapodzilla.com. We're also available on iTunes and the Zune Marketplace. Aw, yeah.
Go check out our friend Crazy Joe over at Megapodzilla. What is that music?
It means we've got feedback, and we got quite a bit this time. A lot of it from this...
Feedback-a-palooza?
It's almost a feedback-a-palooza, so I'm going to fly through this as quickly as I can. Last week, we ran a story about how Supergirl is moving over to the CW. We're going to talk a little bit about that later in the show, but I want to address some of the feedback that we got for that story, and the link will be in our show notes. We got something from Arkle, from Brian Weber, and he writes, I think it's safe to assume that with this move, one or more of the main cast from Season 1 won't be coming back. I just hope that they at least can manage to give them a proper send-off and not do the whole, oh, they moved away off-screen between seasons thing. I also imagine that it won't be too far into the next season of these shows before we get some kind of crisis events that ends up merging the two universes together. Again, we'll talk about that. Interesting point. And we got something from Kurt Armbruster on the same story, and he simply writes, somebody save me. Sorry, wrong show. Okay. And then regarding just last week's episode 72, we had a nice big chat about Civil War, and Arkle saw it. And he writes, I had an interesting experience seeing Captain America Civil War. Interesting in that my mom came out of it pretty much hating everything about it except the Ant-Man stuff. She declared that after this, she is officially done with the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
What?
I know. As we left the theater, her, me, my stepdad, and my brother, I got the impression that the movie left her angry. I'm trying to see her point of view here, as often as I do, squishy liberal that I am. But to my mind, walking out of Civil War going, F it, the Marvel Universe is dead to me now, is like walking out of Star Trek VI, The Undiscovered Country, and going, that's it, I'm never watching Star Trek again.
Well, maybe.
Maybe. It's almost like we were not seeing the same movie, even though we were sitting right next to each other. My brother's underwhelmed reaction wasn't unexpected, since apathy is pretty much his default state. But of the four of us, I seem to be the only one who actually thought the movie was fantastic. This meant the car ride back home was unusually silent. Our conversations post-Ratchet and Clank were more animated, pun intended. And I will say, to anybody who wants to read more about Brian's comment about Ratchet and Clank, we'll have a link in our show notes that you can go right to it, so you can see it there. We also had a little discussion about what might happen in Arrow with possibly Oliver. Well, Oliver did go to Hub City, and there was a hope that maybe he might see somebody called Question. And Brian wrote, if they do bring the Question into the DC TV universe, they really only have two choices. Either use the second Question, Renee Montoya, so we can have an LGBT Latina character in the universe. Interesting. Or go with the guy who voiced him on Justice League Unlimited, the man, the myth, the legend, Jeffrey Combs.
Jeffrey Combs.
Anything either than one of those two things, and it's just pointless. Agree 100%. I especially like the Jeffrey Combs thing. I've seen him in JLU, and I love him as Question. I think he's got that creepy, mysterious quality to him that I like. And then we got a couple of nice little thank yous for the birthday wishes. We got something from Jonathan Latt, and he wrote, thanks, guys. Now, I should point out that I kind of wrote back to him and said, I had a funny feeling you were going to say it. I could hear that in my head. And he wrote, have I become that predictable? And I said, no, not really. And he said, oh, phew, you scared me there. And then we got something from Missy Gunnels-Catano, and she wrote, what a nice surprise to wake up to. Good show, gentlemen. And I kind of thanked her about that. And she then said, I have thoughts about Captain America Civil War versus BVS DOJ. And I said,
CACW versus BVS DOJ.
Yeah. I said, well, hey, I told her she's feel free to share those with us. She says, you may be sorry. And I simply commented back to her. I said, as long as you play nicely, hey, we accept all feedback. And she says, I'm a teacher. I always play nicely. No, the you'll be sorry part comes from me getting to be quiet. And I said, we welcome talkers.
Yes,
and she says, I reckon y'all do. So we might start seeing some more feedback from her. I certainly welcome it. And we also got a thank you from our good friend of the show, Della Cohen, and she simply writes, thank you, gentlemen. And we say, you're welcome, Della. You are a doll. We love you.
Yes, we love Della.
And we got a great comment back from friend of the show, Scott Linder, and he simply writes, great show, guys, and holy crap, Civil War, one of the best of the Marvel movies. Great story, action, interaction, conflict, and internal struggles. They did a great job with introducing Black Panther and Spider-Man.
Yes.
Yeah, and we saw it again last night, and
Oh my gosh.
does it hold up?
Yes.
I agree with you guys about how much I loved how Tom Holland portrayed Peter Parker. Best Peter Parker ever. Agreed. And same with how he did Spider-Man. Big time agree. Could they have done the movie without him? Yes. But I'm very glad they didn't.
Exactly.
I love the buildup of the eventual confrontation between Team Cap and Team Iron Man. This was such a great movie in general and a fantastic Marvel superhero movie. Glad you guys liked it too. And as I said, we saw it for a second time last night, and we both agree. It holds up, and there are parts that actually even seem better on a second viewing.
Absolutely.
And then we got another great response from good friend of the show, Claire O'Leary. We don't hear
Claire.
enough from her, and I love when we get feedback from her.
All the way from Ireland.
All the way from Ireland. She writes, really enjoyed the latest show, guys. Just wanted to chime in on the Constantine issue. I loved that show and was really disappointed when it was canceled, you and the rest of the world. I did hear a rumor that Constantine might be brought back in Season 2 of Legends of Tomorrow. And indifferent as I am to the show, I'm still watching in hope. Maybe that's why he's still being referenced in Arrow, though.
Yeah.
Well, Legends of Tomorrow is being renewed, and so I'm kind of hoping maybe they'll go for a more of a supernatural kind of bent to it. I would love to see him in Season 2. That'd be awesome. And then we got a wonderful response from our good friends, the twins.
The twins.
Sasha and Dagmar. And this time it's in reference to episode 60. We're going back a ways, because this is episode 73.
73.
And we had a little chat about how there's going to be a reboot on the 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. And we talked about how much we love the Disney film. And that was 1954. And they simply writes, if you're talking about the 1954 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, a review of that movie might actually be a nice segment for an episode. Hey, you two, do it. I would love to see you two review that film.
Yeah, that would be great.
That'd be fun. And then it said, actually, as there are other versions out there, perhaps a comparison episode would be interesting in terms of the differences in how the story's translated from novel to screen. And you're all right. There's a later one that was on Sci-fi that starred Ben Cross as Captain Nemo. So, yeah, I would love it. And then in that same episode, we wished Ansel Adams a very happy birthday. And I think it was Keith that said, Ansel Adams, my hero, I just love his photography. Yes. And they recommended that possibly this documentary might be of interest. Ansel Adams, a documentary film from 2002. And there's a quick blurb here. The documentary weaves together archival footage, photographic images, dramatic readings of the artist's own writing. To get to the heart of what so inspired Ansel Adams, we literally followed in his footsteps, said the director Burns. We lugged our cameras up sheer rock faces and hiked the winding trails that led Ansel to his photographic revelations, and they led us to understand more about Ansel. And that was from the PBS American Experience series.
Ansel Adams lived in the park for several years.
Yeah, he did.
His father-in-law had a cabin there. He was a poet or something, and he lived there with his wife. That's how he got so much of the photography.
That's why there's so much awesome photography. I mean, I think you say Ansel Adams, and that's almost synonymous with like Yosemite.
Exactly. So,
and then later on, I guess there in that same episode there was a previously epic response from the twins, and they simply write, our pleasure. How nice to hear you both laughing and have such a nice time. We were so pleased to receive such a delightful compliment from Keith. The twins, and you had said the twins are witty wonders.
Yes.
And they write, oh, so memorable and lovely surprise. Thank you.
They are something else.
They are
a lot of fun.
Oh, totally. And then last week we ran a very sad story about how Marvel's Most Wanted is now Marvel No More. It is DOA. On ABC, and we'll have the link to that story in our show notes as well. A good friend from high school, Don Black, who's a regular listener, he wrote, frankly, I was wondering about this from the beginning. Like, what direction were they going to go with this idea? It wasn't different enough from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. to have an identity of its own. I hope they can find a way to bring Bobby back. They can kill off Hunter for all I care. Ooh, okay, Don, tell me how you really feel.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, Crazy Joe, on the other hand, well, he was very anti-Marvel's Most Wanted, and he wrote, I'm thrilled that the show is dead. I hated the idea from the get-go. Mockingbird and Hunter were great as part of the ensemble on S.H.I.E.L.D. The prospect of remaking The Fugitive with them did not excite me. Now they can return to the cast of S.H.I.E.L.D. where they belong for Season 4. I believe the pilot for Most Wanted was shot already. Now, I love this idea. Cut it up and insert it into Season 4 episodes of S.H.I.E.L.D. so that Mockingbird and Hunter's story is happening parallel to what is going on with the others, then merge the plots, tie up loose ends, and have them rejoin the other cast members by Christmas break. Hey, Joe, I'm with you 100%. I think that's an awesome idea.
I think it's a good idea, but as we discussed whenever they originally started talking about it, they're going to bring more Inhumans in this next
that's the only reason.
season.
One of the reasons why they got rid of them.
It's just going to be. We're not going to have enough screen time for anybody.
No, but there may be another possibility for Marvel's Most Wanted. We'll talk about that in the next segment. And then lastly, we got some voicemail
from the Bionic Geek.
Hey, Ben. Hey, Keith. It's the Bionic Geek, otherwise known as Roy. I just finished watching my shows, or as my girlfriend calls them, my stories for the week. I'm calling in to give my non-spoilery reviews.
By all means.
I just finished Legends of Tomorrow, which is, I think they know what they're doing in terms. It looks like they're actually planning ahead, the same way that obviously Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has been doing, because Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. just keeps getting better, in my opinion.
Okay.
I was cheering my ass off, and I never thought that they could make the guy who plays Grant Ward creepier.
Yeah,
but
that's true.
They did.
For Arrow, yikes! Both Arrow and S.H.I.E.L.D. are dealing with things that go on the end of missiles.
Yeah. Scary.
Supernatural, all I can say without any spoilers is, oh my Chuck.
Aha.
And The Flash, I like the fact that it's grown. It seems to be growing up a bit.
It is maturing.
And
Yeah.
and those are my normal shows, but my ex-girlfriend and best friend got me watching Lucifer.
Oh, that's a great show.
I don't know what it is, but there's just something about that show which is highly entertaining, and I really wish that, again, I wish that Constantine was still on, because I would love to have watched those two interact.
Oh, yeah,
that would have been fun.
That, and I think the actor who plays Lucifer just really enjoys saying the phrase, Detective Douche.
Yeah.
So, what were y'all's thoughts on what you were able to get, what y'all had time to watch this week?
Oh, man.
Looking forward to hearing it.
Well, we didn't have much time because you were
Yeah,
you
it was
were
at a
away.
work conference.
So I tend to avoid watching much television.
We did watch. Didn't we watch the?
Well, we saw Fringe, not Fringe. I'm saying Grimm.
Grimm. Yes.
We watched Grimm
and Elementary,
and we saw Elementary, which
we
was
watched
the season finale.
I thought we watched the.
I think we saw Flash.
Flash, and didn't we watch?
Did we see something else? I think we.
Legends of Tomorrow. Did we?
Did we watch? I don't know. I know
don't
we're
remember.
a couple behind
Anyway.
on that.
Yeah,
but we did watch a few. We saw the episode going to the Flash. Loved it. I loved how he actually got to interact with the Speed Force on a personal basis like that. And what I love about the episode most of all is Grant Gustin. This guy is such an underrated actor. The scenes where he was relating to the image of his mother, I thought was unbelievably beautiful. And that Kevin Smith did such an amazing job directing it. I loved it. We have not seen The Arrow yet.
Yeah.
Now watch that.
And we haven't caught up on Lucifer. We watched what, two or three
episodes. It's all sitting.
I really liked it.
We love the show, but we just haven't had a chance to catch up on that.
Yeah, the problem is that we don't have cable, so we have to go elsewhere to look for it, and it just hadn't been on our radar. But we do plan to pick it up and watch it this summer and finish the season.
Yeah, totally.
Because we really did like it. It's so quirky. But
I love the actor who plays Lucifer.
It's just wonderful.
Yeah. And so we saw the season finale for Elementary. Boy, that went someplace we didn't quite expect.
Yeah.
The whole bit with Moreland all of a sudden, spoiler, I'm not going to say.
Anyway, so
and then Grimm, I'm continuing to love Grimm, but I just I'm beginning to think maybe we just need to not watch it until the whole season's over and then mainline.
Yeah, because it's just driving me crazy. Waiting from week to week.
That's not a show that you want to go week to week on. That drives me mad. So that's
especially
pretty much
since we mainlined the first 4 seasons.
First 3.5 or something like that. Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah. So that's pretty much all we've had a chance to see right now. We have not seen the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. yet. Not the Arrow. And we're not caught up with Legends of Tomorrow yet either.
Yeah.
And I'm anxious to get caught up with those. So
Yeah.
we'll talk about those,
Maybe
I'm
tonight.
sure, once we do.
Yeah.
So I think that is our feedback.
Yeah, and we want to thank everybody that left us feedback. You, our listeners, are very important to us, and the people that read our articles and look at our Facebook stuff and Twitter and everything else. We want to hear from you. Please, if you have something to say, you want to let us know about something or something we should watch or not watch, or, just your ideas, let us know. If you like the show or if you don't like the show, we want to know. You can leave feedback on our Facebook page as TG Squared Studios or TG Geeks Webcast, where you can comment on our episodes and articles that we publish. And you can comment on our YouTube episodes or tggeeks.com. Or you can call our listener feedback line.
And what line? What's that number?
469-TG-GEEKS. That is 469-844-3357. And remember, play nice.
Hi, this is Jonathan Latt, author of the pulp novel The Geek, and you are listening to the Two Gay Geeks podcast.
I've got a couple of things, or three things we really want to touch on fast. First off, now for people who might remember, we recently interviewed Russ Emanuel. He is the director for the sci-fi horror film The Occupants, and we've just been informed that the movie will have its world premiere for the public, Phoenix Comic-Con, Thursday night, June 2nd, in the 7 to 9 p.m. block in the West 102A room.
At the Phoenix Convention
Center.
So please get over there.
Attend.
It will be incredible. There's also going to be a panel afterwards, as I understand.
We will have a review. We will be publishing it that morning.
Yes, that morning, so you can see what we think about it.
The film.
There's going to, as I said, there's going to be a panel afterwards, and I think we're going to get to talk to some of the cast and crew and whatnot later on that evening as well. So, as our own private interview.
Yeah, that'll be a lot of fun. Now, let's move right ahead. And these two stories are actually kind of connected because there's sort of the same theme going on here. And as we said, Supergirl, that is moving from CBS over to CW, and one of the big reasons is cost. It's much cheaper to put on a TV show in Vancouver than it is in Los Angeles. I think there's all sorts of tax breaks. I'm not entirely sure. So, yeah, we're not sure if she's going to National City, Star City. I say she's just simply going to Vancouver.
Yeah, there we go.
But I think this is a very interesting idea that they're going to be sending her over there. Of course, as we heard from Brian, the cast. Will everybody be moving over there? I cannot see Callista Flockhart actually picking up and moving over to Vancouver to film a series.
Yeah, unless they do all of her scenes in little blocks. Maybe, she can go up there for a couple of weeks and do her pieces. And
that's going to require a lot of planning.
Yeah, I know.
I don't think they're going to do that. I mean, I would like to see her because I think right now, she evolved into a character that I really enjoy.
Yeah.
She's not this very two-dimensional, hateful boss.
It would be good if they could get her up there because I think that it's great. And maybe with Greg Berlanti being in charge of it up there instead of having to be beholden to,
Yeah, that's what I really look forward to. I think story-wise, this series can finally go places that it should have been going instead of trying to be
maybe they can save it.
Instead of trying to be the very family-friendly, very uber-optimistic, it was just like almost bubblegum.
Yeah, almost.
And I didn't care for that. What the big question will be, how are they going to merge that series? Because obviously this is going to put them in a position where they can do a lot of crossovers.
Yeah, they can do a crossover with Arrow and with
Flash, Legends of Tomorrow.
The
Possibilities are endless. I like the idea of some sort of a little dimensional crisis. They've been hinting that with Flash. And with Flash breaking the breaking the dimensional barriers all over the place as a possibility of bringing the two together. I think it's a really wonderful idea. Like I said, the cast I'm a little concerned about. I'd hate hate to see any of them go because I like them all.
Yeah.
But I think the stories will greatly improve. I like what this is going to do for the entire overall DC TV universe. I'd be very interested to know what all of you are going to think about this.
Yeah, let us
Where
know.
where would you like to see this series go? Would you like to see it still kind of keep the very bright, upbeat, colorful look like what Flash has? Or do you want to see it to go very all dark like what Arrow does? Be very interesting. On that same vein, there is an online petition, and we're going to have the story for this in our show notes as well. There is a petition to get Agent Carter over to Netflix.
That would be fabulous.
I think this would be very exciting.
But it would be a good move for it because we've got all the other, I won't say lesser characters from the Marvel universe, but there are other Marvel characters on Netflix, and I think that they could do a really good job on Netflix with it.
I think it could. I think it could have a lot of possibilities,
especially in the format that they do them. They could do 6 or 8 or 10 episodes of Agent Carter and be absolutely wonderful.
That's entirely true. And Haley Atwell has already said, I mean, before ABC made their decision, she had already been committed to doing the series Conviction, and she had already said that if the filming schedules were flexible, she'd be more than happy to reprise the role of Peggy Carter for a third miniseries.
Yeah, they could do that. I mean, she could do her Conviction thing, and then because Netflix is already kind of filled up with Marvel stuff at the moment.
Exactly.
Into the future, at least the next year or so, and they could shoehorn her in.
They would
as they'd had time.
Precisely. They could easily set up a time where she could film all her episodes in one big block, and they could actually extend it.
Yeah.
They could give her a full run like they do with Daredevil or
exactly.
Jessica Jones.
Yeah.
So I think it's a really great idea. My only concern, I love the look of the series as we had it on ABC.
Yeah.
That was nice. I don't want to lose that look. I don't want to lose that tone. You know, we look back in history, and post World War II, we're entering the baby boom era. You know, there was this sense of greater optimism, and it's reflected in the television show, especially Agent Carter, because it's very bright, it's very colorful. I don't want to lose that.
It could be the positive side of Marvel on Netflix.
I don't want to go all dark and gritty like we get with
all the others,
like with the other shows. You know, and I know Luke Cage is going to go there. Iron Fist most likely will, as will all the Defenders.
Well, it's all in New York.
All Hell's Kitchen.
Yeah.
If they keep her, I want to keep her in Hollywood.
Yep.
I want to keep her in Los Angeles. I think that show is meant for her to be there. So that's my take on that. So just one last question. If Agent Carter were to work on Netflix, what about Marvel's Most Wanted?
Yeah. What do you think about that? That might work on there too.
Exactly. So people, we're putting that out there. Now again, this story, as the Supergirl story, those show notes, the link to those stories will be in our show notes. I'd like to know what you all think about that, especially with this Agent Carter on Netflix. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think it's a good fit? What about Marvel's Most Wanted? Is that a good fit on Netflix as well? Let us know with some feedback. And that's all I've got.
Yep. And always follow-up items. We have a calendar. Go take a look at the calendar. It's listed as calendar.
Imagine that.
How about that? If you know of a birthday or a con or a film festival or something that needs to be on the calendar, let us know.
Yeah, if there's a
send us a note.
If there's a very interesting event coming up that you'd like for us to know and you'd like our readers to know, yeah, by all means, let us know. We'll make sure that it goes there.
Yep. And we have become huge supporters of independent creators. And, of course, we want to talk about the Indiegogo campaign for Morning After by Patricia Chica and Christian Hodko. You know that we did the interview with them here recently, and we're going to have that link to that in the show notes. And the link to Morning After is on the widget on the right-hand side of the page.
And they just recently passed the $5,000 mark on their Kickstarter campaign.
It's going to be good. Also, Phoenix Comic-Con, they just announced Ralph Macchio and the two villains from Karate Kid.
From the first Karate Kid, the sensei of the opposing school and the rival, the bad guy.
So keep checking Phoenix Comic-Con they've got most of the tracks up there, as well as film festival items and appearances and all that kind of stuff. So go to phoenixcomiccon.com. Memberships are still available and hotels are still available. They're moving a little further out. Ones that are right next to the convention center, I believe, are sold out, but you still can get a hotel downtown. Also, Phoenix Comic Con announced FanFest 16, October 22nd, 23rd, downtown Phoenix at the convention center. More information later on in June. And there's they've announced that Halloween fans, Keen Halloween returns to Phoenix on September 23rd and 24th at Convention Center. Find out more information at keenhalloween.com.
I have to give a special mention to the Doctor Who Fancast Guide. That is something that you can read by going to Twitter and looking for Doctor Who Talking Who, and their handle is @TalkingWho. Why do we mention them? Well, because they have some really great content, and some of that great content includes us.
Yeah.
Same thing with the Arkle Times Post-Dispatch News, and by that name, I'm sure you can guess that it means Brian Weber. Yes, good friend of the show. He is known as Social Justice Scald on Twitter, and his handle is @Arkle. And he has a presence on Tumblr. He has the Incorrect Star Trek Voyager quotes. Go there if you want a good laugh, but don't let your boss see you looking at it while you're at work.
And we want to give a shout out to the Lucky Show, the twins, Sasha and Dagmar.
We love them.
They are a hoot. On Twitter, @Lucky Show, and catch them on YouTube as Lucky Show. If you like old movies and campy reviews and good reviews, not just
the
campy,
reviews are
but
really interesting.
Great reviews. Check this show out.
Yeah, they did one on food, a whole block on food-themed movies, and it was wonderful. And I really want you guys to do the 20,000 Leagues, please. That'd be a lot of fun.
And talk to us.
And then we have to give a special shout-out to the Facebook group, The Gay Geek. Well, it's gay, and it's a geek. So, of course, we love it. They have great content. They have great people. It's just simply the greatest Facebook group out there. And they allow us to post our episodes there. And we have Jeremiah Reeves. He's the one in charge of it all. Thank you, Jeremiah. You are a true mensch. We love you.
Thank you, Jeremiah.
And, of course, the URL is facebook.com/groups/thegaygeek.
And we want to give a big thank you to whoever nominated us for a Parsec Award.
We still don't know.
We're in the process of putting our snippets together, and the Parsec Awards were started a number of years ago for podcasts and are awarded at Dragon Con. They are for actually
it's for speculative fiction.
Speculative fiction podcasts, yes. And for more information, go to theparsecawards.com. Once again, thank you.
Yes.
And not lastly, but we want to let you know about the Amazon ads that we run. Please give a click every once in a while. It shows Amazon we're getting some traffic, and it kind of helps us out too. And if you don't have to buy anything, but if you choose to buy something, click through on one of ours and do a search and buy it through one of our links. That would be helpful. Also, please rate us on iTunes.
Yes, if you download this episode, our show through iTunes, please give us a rating. Yeah. iTunes will see that. It will kind of
boost us a little bit.
It'll give us a little bit of a push. So we like that.
Yeah. And also on Twitter, we've done the same thing that Brian
and the Doctor Who Talking Who.
Yeah, the Paperly thing. And let us know how you like that. If there's interesting stuff there you want to take a look at. I kind of look at it, but I don't pay attention to it that much, So let us know if you like it.
There are people on Twitter that do appreciate that we're recirculating some of their material.
Yep. Next time, well, we're not real sure. We might have
an interview.
Several interviews or snippets of some interviews. Or
to say.
Something to talk about from the observatory in Flagstaff.
We are going to the Lowell Observatory on Saturday.
Yeah, on Saturday. So we're going to be doing the show on Sunday, and we might have a few little snippets of interviews. So check us out next week. Okay, that should do it for this episode of TG Geeks Webcast. Be sure to check out the article for this webcast episode. We're going to have several links on the page, as always. And remember, you can you can contact us on Facebook, or you can comment on Facebook page or our website, tggeeks.com, or you can leave us a voicemail at 469-TG-GEEKS. That is 469-844-3357. From TG Squared Studios, I am Keith Lane. Thanks for listening. I bid you peace.
Cheerio fantastico.